Hey everyone, welcome to the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast, the ultimate blueprint to self-love and inner peace. I'm your host, Danielle Van. As a cognitive behavioral therapist, a life coach to women, meditation teacher, and author, I've spent my life studying and learning from the stories that make us human. It's my passion and goal to help you shift your mindset and create a lifelong revolution to help you reach your greatest potential. We've reached the end of 2022. It's incredible, really. It's been a year of many things, a year of growth and loss, a year of seeking and change, a year of revolution, a year of finding ourselves to the point many are now asking, what's next? So, what is next? What would your ideal life look like if you could envision what would occur this time next year? Have you ever taken a moment to clarify what you truly want and desire? Have you taken a moment to break down the 5 pillars of your life and write out a vision list? From intentionality to a life mission statement to deep diving into what it takes to create your best life in the next 12 months, today we are setting ourselves up for the greatest success possible, which always leads us to deeper self-love and inner peace. Without wasting another moment, let's dive right in. The Get Your Life Together Girl podcast starts right now. Oh, man. 2022 has been a year of test for me personally. How about you? Do you feel like you've been tested a lot? I know I've learned so much as I stayed open to everything and really refused to be closed to anything as well. In that openness, I experienced a great deal that had me evaluating my personal vulnerability. It had me confronting barriers to being seen. And honestly, throughout this year, my health has taken a major hit. That last part's something I'll be talking more about on the Get Your Life Together Girl Instagram page in January. But with all these growth pieces and trials, the only thing that has kept me in the arena of my intentions has been the ultimate North Star that I created last year at this time. And as I sit in my office and prepare to do it once again, I thought I would share with you exactly how to create the most empowering, kick-ass, intentional vision for yourself so that you have a guiding light, a North Star to help you really get through the next 12 months in a way that really empowers you. What do you say? Do you want to set yourself up to navigate your best life right now? More importantly, do you want to stay on track once you start this ultimate journey? Yes, today we are talking about self-love and inner peace and growth, but in order to do all of those things, to be really honest, outside of healing, you really must have a plan. Of course, growth does sometimes happen without a plan, but having a plan allows us to really get through to where we want to be without having all of the negative twists and turns. Will negative things happen? Of course. It's called life, right? This is a lesson-based experience that we're having. However, if we have a plan, we can get into a place where we stay better in our tracks, we stay on our path, and we, guide ourselves in a new way. Of course, I'm not talking about resolution, so I want you to delete that word from your mindset. Correct auto delete. I do not want that to be a part of this conversation whatsoever. Resolutions are great for people who want to toss out a maybe I'll do this for 6 weeks mission statement. Right? I'm going to go to the gym, I swear. And then you hit the bar instead. No, that's not what I want. I'm talking about creating a personal vision and mission for yourself that is intentional, in groundedness, that has multiple dimensions of your life through the 5 pillars I always hit you with. So, of course, I'm going to remind you of what that is. That is spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, and financially, really in this wellness of your life, in this space and aspect that you can grow through. You've probably heard of a vision board before. If you listen to any other podcast or you're on Pinterest, you've probably been exposed to the idea of a vision board. And we're kind of doing that without the pictures. You can do this exercise and then add pictures to them to keep you visually on track if you want to. But I want you to really write out your vision journey first. You need to have a game plan that keeps you available to your dreams accountable to your success, determined to reach your greatness, and then really in the celebration mindset to really wrap your arms around anything big or small that you do throughout this next year. Okay. So again, write out the plan. I'm going to walk you through it. There is quite a bit to it, but I promise once you get the hang of it, it's going to be a much easier task for you. So let's get started, because this is something, again, that I love to do personally each and every year. And it really has supported me. Again, this year has been a whirlwind for me of good and bad. And this has been my guide to keep me on track. So I used the words personal vision just a few minutes ago, but there's another word that goes with those two. And the word is statement. Personal vision statement. So what is that? It's a statement that answers the question, what do I want? And this is part one of what we're creating, right? What do I want? It's called a vision, okay? And I want you to hear this, please. It is called a vision because the answer you craft has to come with no limitations. I want you to think about it as like a dream. When you're in a dream, you're going to run and jump off the building, right? You're not going to stand on the edge and say, oh my gosh, if I jump, I may fall. No, you're going for it, right? You're hitting it hard. And that's what I want you to do in this moment. I get it. It's a little difficult for most people because what happens? We get into the what ifs, the I can'ts. Our minds really struggle to allow us to set our bar high, right? To create this space for us that we have to reach, and we have to really push ourselves to get to that moment. We don't like to do that. It's outside of our comfort zone. Remember, the brain wants to keep you safe. And I'm going to ask you to reach. And the reason why I'm going to ask you that is because what has playing small done for you? Seriously, I want you to consider that. Let it sink in. Create a feeling that moves through you right now so that you can let go of any limits. What has playing small done for you in the past 12 months? What has playing small done for you in the last 2 years? What has playing small done for you in the last 5 years? The whole point of this exercise is to help you live a life that is well lived, right? Not just live a life, but live a life that is well lived. It's funny when we get to this time of the year because a lot of people who really center their time around selling people how to, make goals and to create new habits, especially around fitness, they want you to create a vision for yourself that is lifelong. And that's great. However, it's actually a recipe for disaster. How can you plan for your entire life and still leave room for change and growth when this blueprint is really rigid? I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and that's going to happen because of this. You're setting yourself up for expectation failure. You can't always hit exactly what you're trying to create. And here we're creating a vision, what I want to ideally create, with a mission of how I'm going to get there, right? That leaves room. That leaves room for growth. It leaves room for change. It leaves room for attainability. It allows you to flow. So what we're trying to do is create a magic place, a pathway that allows us to obtain what we want in the next 12 months, but not be so rigid that we talk ourselves out of our greatness. There's something else that's really important that I want to really say now before we sit down to do this exercise together. So I want you to understand, it does not matter where you are in your life right now. You can still do this exercise. And what's most important is that you put what is most important to you in the forefront. I'm going to list off a few areas of your life that you could be focusing on. And I give them in a set list, but that does not mean that is the order. Okay, so I want you to give yourself permission to move through what you need, what you feel is most important, what you desire, and how you're going to create your circumstance. right? Because this, again, is not set in stone. These are just the areas that most of us focus on throughout the year. And so I want to hand those over to you. But again, this is your space, your time, your life. You do it in the way that best serves you. So those areas that we can focus on are emotionally, mentally, health and wellness, which also includes play. I'm going to explain that in just a moment. Then we have character, beliefs and values, spirituality, and please know we're not talking about religion here. I'm talking about actions, activities, and beliefs that build a greater connection to yourself and to whatever you believe is greater than yourself, right? So spirituality in that framework. Relationships in all forms. So love, family, parenting, friendship, work, doesn't matter. Relationships as a whole. Financially, what do you need? What do you want? In your career, which of course has a tie to your finances, but what is it that you want for your career? Quality of life. What's going to create that for you? And then lastly, service and community. All of these things can also have an overarching experience or feeling that ties to something else or every category. What I want you to understand is that while I'm asking you to break everything down individually, that doesn't mean that there isn't a connection to something else. We're just looking at the terms of everything that we're doing here individually so that we can create one big forward movement for ourselves. So when I ask you to break it down, know that it may still be tied to something else. Your finances are going to be tied to your career, right? So know that that's possible. And in the end, everything that we're doing here, creating together, is really focused on best supporting your body, your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. And here's just one more. Hear me for just a moment, please. Everything that you're about to do depends solely on you and you alone. Of course, how we show up does impact the people that we love and the people that are surrounded around us and within our lives. But I want you to focus solely on what do you need? What do you want? What are you willing to create? Now, before we dive into the steps, let's quickly talk about the difference between a vision statement and a mission statement, because it's important to understand before we jump into writing the plan, right? And if you listen to this podcast regularly, you've heard me mention that I often create mission statements for different experiences, intentions, goals. Although I don't love the word goals, I much more prefer intentions, but I do. And I want to hand over why I do it, because it goes hand in hand in creating this vision for the upcoming year. As I said, in your mission statement, when you're answering what you want, you're essentially saying, what do I want to show up in the physical form after I've achieved my intention? What do I want? A mission statement describes how you will put that intention into action. That's where those I am statements come in that I talk about all the time, the affirmations. They're really the pathway forward. Let me give you a couple examples to clarify. I think that's always important because we can say all of these beautiful sentences, but if we don't really fully grasp them, they don't help us. So a personal vision statement would be, by the end of the year, I will open a yoga studio. By the end of the year, I will be in a committed and loving relationship. By the end of the year, I will be debt-free. These are great statements, but much like resolutions, they don't have action behind them. They don't teach us how to get there. They just are the thing that we want to concentrate on. And, we want to have something that provides us with an understanding of what we are doing and why we are doing it. So that's where the mission statement comes in. And I'm going to give you like the most basic level mission statement because there's more to it. And don't worry, towards the end of this podcast episode, I'm going to give you a formula of how to create the mission statement. So in the terms of the yoga studio, it would be, I am providing my community with a safe space to grow and experience yoga. The vision is having the studio. The mission is creating a safe space to grow and experience yoga. You're opening the doors, right? So that's the way forward. We don't need to go through all of them because you're going to take some time at the end to write out your own mission statement. Just know that a mission statement is a strategy. And you're probably asking, why is that important? I know when I first learned about all of this and really creating this vision for myself and this life vision list, I asked, why do I care? Can't I just write out a goal and follow the goal? And the answer is yes, you can. But here, when you get really specific and you drill down, you have a much better chance of actually bringing the thing that you want into fruition. And we want that. So, because the other thing is that if you don't have a clear understanding of what you want to occur in a distinct time frame, we tend to free float, right? Sort of like what I just said. But if you have no destination, just a few hopes and wishes, you can't really drive yourself very easily toward your goal. It's hard to maintain the pathway. It's hard to maintain the steps. And so that's why we do this. We want to give ourselves a blueprint that's not set in stone, of course, like we just said, but it gives us an ability to hold ourselves accountable, right? Accountability is a big thing. A lot of people struggle with it, and this is the accountability factor. Now, this is a practice. This is an exercise. And you can do it however you want to, but I do have a few do's and don'ts as we get started, if you would, right? If you'll just follow these basic steps, and everything beyond that you can do however you want. But as you're writing your personal vision statement, before the mission statement portion, you will likely notice that some areas of your life really flow easily. Your thoughts are connected, you don't struggle. And I want you to know that that is an indicator that that is where the most important pieces are for you. So if you're not struggling, the thoughts are coming easily, you're able to answer these questions, that should be at the top of your list. If you're struggling, don't get frustrated. That just means that's not as important to you right now. So do follow through on what you want. Don't fall into a place where you're beating yourself up or you're in a struggle mindset. I do ask that you are very specific. Be bold with your desires. Remember, we're not playing small. We are reaching. So do reach. On the don't end of things, don't write down or place someone else's desires or vision on your paper. Remember, this is for you and you alone. I also don't want you to become discouraged by where you currently are in your life. This is something that I see time and time again in private session where people will say, this is what I want, but where I am right now is so far from that point that I can't even believe that it's possible. Please know that anything that you want is totally possible, and you may not be totally qualified to get from A to Z, but that's okay. That's why we're writing out our vision, and that's why we will then make it into a mission, because then we will create everything that we need in order to make that happen. Please remember, your dreams are not impossible. Everything you want and need and desire is achievable. Don't judge, because here we are in the power of do. We are in the power of yes. And if it feels like a really far and difficult stretch, we are going to lean into the power of yet. Not yet, but I'm working towards it. I don't have that yet, but I'm going to have it, right? So we are in the power of do, and in the worst case scenario, we're in the power of yet, not in the power of never, okay? So let's write out our vision statement in 5 steps. Again, this is per area of your life, okay? So remember I said, we're going to be breaking everything down to financial or career, recreation or your health, relationships, personal relationships, community, doesn't matter. You can have as many vision statements as you so desire. If you have 12 vision statements for the year, you have 12 vision statements for the year. Congratulations. You've got a lot to focus on. And that means that your results and your end payout towards the end of next year is going to be incredible, right? If you do the work, if you follow the vision. It's necessary to break these down individually. I'll admit, I personally have tons of visions and missions. For instance, I have one for this podcast. I have one for each of my businesses. I have one for teaching and private sessions. I have one for spiritual growth, one for writing my next book. I have one for financial growth and health. I have one for my physical health. I can go on and on and on. I have tons of vision statements. I have tons of mission plans. It's okay. It means that you are focused and ready to step into your life. It doesn't matter how many you have as long as you follow through. And so let's talk about the how. It's important to know that writing a vision statement is an act of awakening. I'm going to say that again. Writing a personal vision statement is an act of awakening. It's an act of awakening to your potential. It's an act of purpose work, meaning finding why you are creating what you desire. It's an act of taking charge of your life and making decisions that best support you. One woman I did this with recently wrote me, and I asked her if I could share the email, just a portion of it with you, because it made me laugh. And then I realized that it's absolutely true what she said. So she wrote me and said, "You have one statement that you say a lot, and I love it so much. And that statement is, this is an act of rebellion. Making the time to write my vision and mission statements feels and honestly is an act of total rebellion. I'm going to continue to rebel because damn, it feels good to be in control of what I want and what I need. I'm so doing this. I'm living my life like a rebel with the vision that I have for myself." If that doesn't hit you right in the center of the chest and make you hold your hand there for just a moment and honor her, to honor that statement, I don't know what does. I actually printed out the email and taped it to my wall because damn right? This is an act of rebellion to say, you know what? I'm focusing on myself for the next 12 months. I'm creating what I want, and I'm going to do it time and time again because I have my North Star ready for me. I know what I want. I know what I need. I know how I'm going to get there. Now you see where those questions come from, don't you? All right, so one area at a time, like I said. And remember that this is a mental exercise. Just like she said, it is an act of rebellion, which means as you are doing this work, an immense number of feelings can arise. It's also known that this exercise creates frustration because it's not going to take you 5 minutes. So I want you to really give yourself space and time to do this work, however long it takes, with whatever it takes, okay? Some people actually spend the entire month of January doing this kind of planning and deep work on themselves to create the vision that they want. And if that is what it takes, give yourself space and permission to do that. So now that we are beginning to lean into our writing, I want to give you the areas of focus that I gave you earlier. And again, these are really just dependent on what works for you. Pick what you want, add to it, subtract, doesn't matter. Your life, your way. So those are emotional, mental, health and wellness, character, belief and values, spirituality, relationships in all forms, financial, career, quality of life, service, or community. I'm going to give you a few questions to get started to connect to those areas. And these answers should be swift to write down. Really, this is the jump off point, right? So that we can get to the longer practice. So let's see. Financially, write down that word on a piece of paper. Write down how much you make every year. Then write down, is that what I want? Do I have deeper financial goals? Yes or no? Very simple. Let's move to career. Are you working? Is it fulfilling? Play. What do I do in my downtime? Does it make me feel good? Health. What am I doing to stay healthy? Do I have any other health or fitness goals? Relationships. What are my relationships like? Do they need repair or work? Spirituality. What am I doing to engage in my spiritual growth? Do I feel connected to myself and something bigger than me? In your personal life, are you nourishing your mind, body, and soul? What kind of intentions are you working toward? In your community, what kind of communities are you involved with? Are you helping yourself and others? Beliefs. Are you living through beliefs that are yours and not someone else's? These are simple yet big questions. And if you missed anything on this list, go back and listen to them now. This is the pre-work to the much more extensive work. If you are ready to go, then let's dive right into the bigger work, right? Because we're gearing our minds up. We are really leaning into what we want to create. So step number 1 in our vision writing list is, what do I want from this year? What do I want in 2023? Again, I want you to really focus on just one thing, right? So if you're talking about physically or your health, what is it that you want from this year? Maybe it is, I want to lose some weight, or I want to regain my health, whatever it is. If you're struggling with coming up with what you want from this year, let me give you some examples. I've actually kept a short list from private session throughout this year of the different things that a few women have said. One was to turn their hobby into a profession. The next person said, turn my passion for health into a coaching career. One said to run a marathon so that I can ultimately be healthy. Another said to write a book about my experiences and travel as a speaker to talk about trauma. Another said find healing so that I can find myself worthy of my passions. Write whatever it is that you want to focus on and take your time. With that area of focus, let's explore the step 2, and that is, what are your beliefs around that singular focus? Here's the deal. What you believe in is the frame in which you think. If you've listened to this podcast, you already know that your thoughts drive your emotions, and that drives your actions. And that drives how you are thinking about everything that you are doing, saying, and experiencing. So if you internally are saying, I want to write a book about my experiences, but your thoughts are surrounding around, I really don't want to have the backlash from my family because of what I really would have to say to write a true account, you're actually going to be controlled by the I don't want to have the backlash more than the desire to write the book. So what are your beliefs around what you want? Do you believe that you can do it? Do you believe that it's going to be bad? Do you believe it's going to be good? Another example of this would be, if you think that money is the root of all evil, you're going to sabotage your financial desires because you actually don't believe that money is a good thing. And that's a very hard thing for a lot of women to think about. They say, well, I want this, but I can't have that. And you create the can't, not the want. So with the areas of focus, ask yourself, do I believe that this thing is for me? Do I believe that I can have it? Do I believe that this vision is mine to have? What do you believe about the vision? What do you believe about your health, money, relationships? You get it? Be specific, be truthful. If you say my health is trash right now, but you know you can turn it around, the turnaround is the focus. I want you to also ask yourself, are my beliefs empowering me? And if they're not, I want you to flip them until they are true and they are empowering. The next piece of this is to ask yourself, will my vision move me to the next area of my life, or will it hold me back? If it's a true vision, it's not going to hold you back, right? I want that to be very clear. However, if you haven't fully answered everything and you don't really know what direction you're headed in, it could hold you back. So do you want this vision to take you to the next level? We want everything to empower you. We want you to consciously choose what works and support your vision so that you can create the mission forward towards it. With that, I want you to create this for every area of focus. So if that means that you need to create one for play and for finances and career and for your personal life, for community, for anything, do it. Each one deserves its own time, respect, and understanding. Then, when you have that all taken care of, write your mission statement. Remember, you are answering, what do I want? In this step, you envision each area of your life the way you want it to be. So answer these questions. How do I want to feel in this area of my life? How do I want my life to feel? What do I want it to look like? What do I want to be doing on a consistent basis? If your life were exactly how you want it to be with each of these focuses, what would it consist of? Give yourself permission to dream big, remember, reach, and write down exactly what you want to achieve. Step 3, identify your why. Why do you want it? This is your purpose, the why. What is the compelling reason behind what you want with each of these focuses in your life? Honestly, the why helps you determine whether or not you're going to get it. So answer these questions if you're struggling with the why. Why is this important to me? What energizes me? What empowers me to take action? Am I a risk-reward kind of person? Am I a gratitude kind of person? What allows me to take action? What motivates me to achieve my vision? What will I gain if I achieve it? And what will I lose if I don't? That last one is super important. You know why? Because a lot of times when we can't see what we want, we can't see what we would lose if we did have it. And what we would lose is growth, a sense of expansion, a sense of purpose, a sense of fulfillment, a sense of gratification, expansion. I want you to think about the fact that your purpose equals motivation. If your purpose is strong enough, you will do whatever it takes to manifest your dreams and intentions. This is why we are doing this work. For the next 12 months, if you followed something that you believed in so strongly and wanted so badly, can you imagine what it will feel like to wake up and be inside that vision every day? I will tell you, I've done it. It's beautiful. Do it, right? And then I want you to come up with a strategy. What can you do to achieve it? Now, this edges on our mission statement, right? Because we talked about a mission being the pathway forward, and it is, but here we're still giving ourselves the buildup of our vision statement. So just remember that. Remember, your strategy refers to the specific action of how you will get to where you want to be and how you're going to bring that vision into reality. Your strategy is really where your intentions live. Okay, I want you to think about that. My strategy, my everyday showing up, is where my intentions live. And if you need some help, answer the questions. What kind of positive habits, attitudes, and action steps can I put in place to continue towards a good vision, towards a good strategy? What's the pathway for my vision that I need to create for each of my focuses? What support do I need on this journey? Maybe I don't have enough education. Maybe I don't have enough understanding. What support do I need? The key here is to write down the steps that can help you get started toward the dream. And no matter how small they are, I want you to really get started. And then step 5 is I want you to put everything in one vision for the entire year. Again, this is not set in stone. This is going to help us move into our mission statement. So no matter how many focuses you have, if you've done all of this work, you're going to begin to integrate all of them to come up with one focus. You may have already noticed, but it's not very likely that what you have written is isolated from the other focuses. So a lot of people will say, I am going to put my best self forward so that I can create the business that I want, so that I can be emotionally, financially, mentally stable. And you can see how that all ties together. In this process, we're creating one singular vision for yourself that encompasses everything. So if you're struggling with that, answer these questions. What does my life look like on this date, a year from now, if all of my intentions, all of my focuses become a reality? Then I want you to describe that dream house or that level of health and fitness, the ideal love relationship and social life, your dream family, career, your high quality lifestyle. It doesn't matter what it is, describe it. How will you push yourself to be within this vision? What emotions will you allow yourself to experience consistently? What specific character traits will you have built if you go to this place? What do you want to do to feel spiritually connected? Whatever it is. When you put everything together, that's the blueprint, right? That's the pathway forward. And you have to be able to see it in order to create that pathway. So before we talk more about the mission statement so that you have that complete pathway, I want to give you a few statements that those same women that I worked with began to give me as we came to this part of this development, right? This life vision list. So around the area of health and fitness, some of them said, being in great physical shape supports my desire to live and be active for my children, grandchildren, and one day great-grandchildren. I had another woman that said, I plan to be at least 100 years old, so I have to take care of my body. I love that one. Next, emotionally. I love these because it means that we've done some really good deep work. But they said, I see myself as highly emotionally intelligent. Love that. Another one said, I am a master at managing my emotional states. That's a big statement. And I will let all of my emotions that are positive become my extraordinary attitude towards life. Character, the character traits. I am reliable by doing what I say I'm going to do every time. I realize that my word is my promise and my bond. Another said, I will no longer live in a state of fear because it's no longer my driver. Another said, I am determined and I can accomplish anything I set my mind to, and therefore that's going to lead my way. I'm going to give you a couple more. Spiritually, they said, I will continue to strive to obtain a clear vision of my reality and keep myself within it. When it came to love relationships, it said, I am dedicated to constant growth as an individual and then as a couple. Parenting, I'm connected to my children so that they understand they belong in this world. I love that. I love sitting in that one. And another one was, I am active in listening when it comes to my children because I want them to know that I see them as they are, not as the people I thought they would be. That's a huge one. I can go on, but let's get to you writing your mission statement. Just like we walk through the vision exercise, let's go a bit deeper. Start by considering who you want to be in this next year. If all of the visions that you created, who would you be? And knowing this allows you to really get into that path work. You know, for example, in 2016, I wrote, I want to be a balanced human who lives through their soul. That was my mission. My path was finding balance. Really important. Next, consider how you will achieve everything without falling into burnout, anxiety, and stress. That may mean for you that the pathway forward is you're going to work on all these intentions and visions a total of 2 hours a day for 5 days a week, and you will find balance and rest in the other 2, right? So this is the identification, the movement forward. And then I want you to identify the legacy you're creating. By the end of 2023, I will be financially stable. I'll be physically well, a business owner, whatever it is. How will your vision and mission create real, viable change for you and then others? I want to give you a template. I told you earlier that I would do that to really help you write out your mission statement with all of your visions intact. So I'm going to read it a couple times and then I'm going to give you an example, right? So here is the template. I am, and then I want you to insert your action from your vision statement. For blank, right? So this is, who is this for? I am taking action for myself and my family by doing, this is whatever your action is, to create. And here you're going to put in your desired results. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to read it to you again so that you can write it down. I am, put in your action. For, who's it for? By doing, what action are you taking? To create, what are your end results? I am taking action for myself by doing the work to create a better me, right? That's a good example. Another one that was given to me, and I love it. I'm using my gifts to support myself and women around the world, to teach them how to empower themselves, to create a world where women know they count, are worthy, and can experience life to their fullest definition of love. That's what that person said I was doing as a part of my mission and vision statement. And I love that. That is my goal. That is my mission. So what is yours? Can you use that sentence to really take all of your visions and create your path forward? Now, a quick question that always comes up. Can I have more than one mission statement per vision? The answer is yes. I personally have one overarching statement for everything that I want to do for that year, but I have individual mission statements per vision. Okay? You can do that. Do it however you want to. For me, that's easier to manage. Do you have to do that? No. Do it however works for you. As to how to use this exercise, I get this a lot. I personally write out my individual statements and list out the reasons why I'm doing this thing and have my mission statement on this piece of paper. Then I hang it on a wall and I review it at least once a week. It's my metrics. It's my meter as to, am I showing up? Am I taking action? Am I being intentional in what I said I was going to do for the year? And when I hit it, I mark it off. I celebrate my victories. You know, what more should you be doing when you show up, right? So do it however you want to. Put it on a wall, put it on your phone, put it on a calendar. It doesn't matter. Just check in, make sure that you're celebrating, and really show up. So this is personally how I show up every single year. Again, it's my North Star. It gives me a shot to create what I want. I hope you will give yourself a shot. I hope that you will trash resolutions and get intentional. I hope that you'll create your deepest and wildest dreams. I hope you reach because you deserve to reach. And you have the power to become, to do, to create whatever it is you so desire. This is a beautiful way to make it happen. So, what will you create in 2023? What will you allow yourself to have in order to make this the best year of your life? You deserve to have that. You deserve to create a vision that feels so damn good and so individual to just you. And doing so, it's an essential step to getting your life together, girl. Thank you so much for listening to the Get Your Life Together Girl podcast. If you've enjoyed these tips to bettering your life and are seeking daily inspiration and additional tools and tips, you can follow me on social media at Get Your Life Together Girl on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Or you can visit the show notes, my blog, and my website at GetYourLifeTogetherGirl.com. While you're there, please check out the Get Your Life Together Girl Women's Circle. There's over 100 downloadable tools and practices available to you right now, and it's updated weekly and available to you in Visit GetYourLifeTogetherGirl.com/women's-circle to find out more. Until next time, be kind to yourself and others.